the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were lined with adventure, mountains in the way couldn't keep us from the sea. Here we stand, open arms. This is home where we are, ever strong in the world that we made. I still hear you in the breeze, see your shadows in the trees, holding on, memories never change.
Okay, hey everyone! Now the music should be down, so you should be able to hear me. Let me know if you can, and in the meantime I'm going to figure out if I can hear myself on YouTube. And actually I can, which means it's official now, my live stream has begun, so welcome everyone, good evening, and yeah, today's topic is going to be, how do you even pronounce it, Ghidra, let's call it Ghidra for the sake of this live stream. And my moderator is Foxtrot Charlie, you can see his nickname, yeah, right here in this corner. And if you have any questions on topic or off topic for me, then do ping Foxtrot Charlie, and he will, using magical methods, let me know what the question is and I will try to answer it. That's somehow how it works, and it actually worked well so far. Anyway, I guess the big change is that we have a Discord server now, something I was thinking about for a couple of weeks. Especially after seeing some of the Discord servers I was invited to, like from Hack the Box or John Hammond, which are pretty successful. So I decided, hey, we have an IRC channel, why not make a Discord channel? So yes, we do have a Discord server now, and it will actually, a link to it will be visible here, like in this, in this bar. Wait, trying to synchronize hands isn't easy. In this bar, it will be scrolling there from time to time, so if you are interested in Discord, you can actually join. And there are a couple of people, plus we have, courtesy of Foxtrot, we actually have a bot which bridges IRC and our Discord, so that folks can chat with each other even if somebody is not on IRC or somebody is not on Discord. Yeah, so I guess that's that. Again, the topic of today is going to be Ghidra. I didn't look at it too much. I think I spent like half an hour playing with it yesterday evening, and that's about it. If you're wondering what is Ghidra, then it's actually interactive disassembler. So if like you're thinking interactive disassembler, you're probably thinking IDA or Binary Ninja. And yeah, Ghidra is the new kid on the block, and it's basically done by NSA, which is what the National Security Agency of US. And they released it as open source, kinda-ish, as in it's on Apache 2 license, which is open source, and they said they will actually open source the source code as well. Last I checked, a week ago, it was still, the source code was still not uploaded, so they're probably like fixing the last nuts and bolts to be able to release it. If you ever worked for a company and tried to release something as open source, you know that it's usually more work than one can think. Cool. Yeah, I'm like going to do this motion today all the time because my microphone is here and I cannot see all the chats. And we again have 3 chats today. I guess I can give you a link to Discord as well on our YouTube stream, because why not? Just let me figure out how to do it. And wait, to Discord server on our YouTube chat. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Here you go. So if you're interested, just join our Discord. I guess I'm going to give it to you on IRC as well, though that is not really needed, as as you can actually just be on IRC and every message will be passed anyway. Though we do have some additional channels on Discord. Not many, 1 for now, plus 3 voice channels which are unused, but they are there. But in the end, I guess we'll just, we'll get to populate them one way or the other. Let's do some random announcements as usual. Let me see. And I believe I had the browser. Here we go. So, this is the website of my moderator today, foxtrotlabs.cc. So, Foxtrot writes posts about, I guess, security, and I'm pretty sure he wrote something recently. He didn't, but I'm pretty sure this is because he is the moderator today, while, as you know, usually Kshaku is the moderator on Wednesdays, and I kinda like surprised Foxtrot with going to his blog a day early, and I'm pretty sure he has something scheduled for tomorrow. Anyway, the other thing, Confidence Conference will happen in June in Krakow in Poland. If some of you might know it. If you don't know it, it's actually a conference which is around like 1,000 people, I guess. And it has like a pretty long history. I think it's like, I don't know, like 12th edition right now or something like that, maybe 11th. And it's pretty amazing, actually. I really like it. So yeah, like check it out if you're interested. Oh, Pavel, thank you for your donation. Donations are always appreciated. Yeah, they like, you know, I can pay my bills for like the servers and so on thanks to them. Anyway, I'm not going to attend this edition. I was on most editions which happened in the past. That being said, I am in the program committee, so yeah, I do know that the program will be actually quite interesting. So if you're in Poland or in the like nearby, visit it. It's a good conference. I personally like it. And speaking of conferences, I was on Synfo in Lisbon. As you know, there was a time where there were no streams because I was traveling, and I guess I never released the slides yet, so I'm just going to give you links on chat. I'm going to put the slides on my blog at some point in the future, near future, but they are not yet there, so if you want to take a look, then take a look. I guess there is like 100, 200, I don't know, slides. Let's see. And the video should be available pretty soon as well. Yeah, so there are 200 slides plus some additional ones which I didn't ever finish up, but I left them there because why not? Cool. So yeah, oh, I actually didn't have to close the browser. I guess we can open it again. And oh, before we actually get to the main topic, which again is Ghidra, I guess it's a little old topic because it was a hot topic 2 weeks ago, but I was not able to do a live stream about it 2 weeks ago because we're still not here. A week ago, I had to cancel the live stream in the last moment. And yeah, so yeah, it's kind of like a cold topic right now. It's not really a hot topic, but it still should be fun. I'm going to basically try to compare it with the tools I am used to using, which is IDA, and like also think about, is this a tool which is useful for new people which are just being introduced into reverse engineering? Is this something I could actually like recommend for a newbie to download? Because you have to start with something. IDA 3 is one way to go, and it's actually, you know, the tool which most folks use. And if I remember correctly, there were some announcements that IDA 3 is going to get debugger support, which is even better. But in the end, if there is something else to choose from, that's also usually good, right, for engineers. Okay, let me take a look at the questions, and the questions should appear here. There is one question from Francisco. Not a question. Okay, no question. Just saying thank you for coming to Synfo and talking to our security team. You are very welcome in Portugal. Thank you. Actually, it was a pretty amazing experience for me because it was an event on a university. So the talks were basically for students and graduates, I guess, or like soon to be. And after my talk, I also got a chance to meet with the CTF team, which was on that university, and it was actually like more people came than I imagined will come. I thought this would be like, yeah, like 4 people will come, we'll chat about CTFs and like that, and there was like a full room of people, like a rather large room at that. So that was pretty amazing, and the discussion about CTFs was pretty awesome as well. It had like, yeah, you could basically feel that these are folks who are actually playing CTFs and they know what they are asking about and what they are talking about. So that was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. So again, thank you for the invitation. A question from CTF Rookie. I want to start learning some tools for symbolic execution, mainly for CTFs. What do you recommend? It's a good question. I guess Anger is the typical one. And I'm not sure, well, I'm thinking about Z3. I'm not sure Z3 is more like a constraint solver than symbolic execution on its own, but it's actually pretty good to know as well. So Z3 for SMT stuff. But I'm not sure if, oh, and there is this manticore thing, which is anger for human beings or something like that. These are like the default tools, I would say, that folks are using. That being said, it's not like you use a lot of them. You do not use a lot of symbolic execution during CTFs. Okay, no more questions. I guess we can, again, if you have questions, then you have to ping this guy, either on YouTube chat, on Discord, or on IRC, because if you ping that guy, he will pass the question to me, using, again, telepathic methods. And if you do not ping him and you ping me, I will miss the question, because I am looking at the camera and not really on the chat, sorry. Apart from that, if you are on our IRC, you can write !Q and then the question itself. And that doesn't work on Discord yet, but should start to work at some point in the future. So, yeah, I guess we can switch to our main topic of the day, and later on we can get back to questions if there are any. Yeah, and as I mentioned, I am by no means an expert in Ghidra. I basically looked at it yesterday, and that's it. So yeah, I'm going to use a virtual machine for Ghidra because I didn't install it on my my machine yet. I might install it later on, I guess, when the source code is ready and I can compile it, because why not? And the installation is actually, there is no installation, so you download it, it's like 200 megabytes an archive, and I guess let's actually take a look before I jump to the application itself. Let's take a look where to find it. So let's look at that and GitHub. Let's see if the source code is there. Okay, yeah, and there are a lot of resources already for Ghidra, so just take a look. I guess there's like, yeah, ghidra-sre.org. And you can download it here. There's an SSH. I would love for this to be actually, you know, like a signature instead, like a public key cryptography signature. But whatever, and I guess this is going to be where the source code will be uploaded when it will be uploaded finally. I do not believe it's uploaded yet. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's uploaded, so yeah, someday. And I think there are like a lot of resources, especially if you look at Ghidra on Twitter, there are a lot of links flying around, so folks are quite excited about it. And going back to here, the installation is basically, yeah, just unpack it, and then you need to install Java, ideally open JDK Java, and then like put Java in your path. I have this done. Oh wait, I'm going to make the window, like move it slightly. It's going to be a little annoying for, maybe let's do it like this. Oh, I want to move it slightly because, let's stick with this, because that way I can just go to the bottom of the screen and do this, zooming, perfect. Otherwise, like, my shortcut for zooming is stolen away by the virtual machine and it doesn't work. So yeah, you just put it on whatever in the path or whatever other way you want to do that, and you launch this bat file which is provided, and the path, this is actually what I've added, but that doesn't matter, you can use whatever other method to add Java into your path. And you run it, and that's about it. Is the video bitrate low? I don't believe it's low, but I guess I can try to, like, I can try for the next stream to increase the bitrate. Okay, so this is build public. That means there is a build private. Well, as expected. And like from the get-go is like a feeling of a tool which I would use on Windows 95, I guess, with like you know, a window with a light bulb saying, "Oh, did you know about this?" or "Did you know about that?" Okay, so I already played with some project yesterday, but let's just create a new project. You basically create a project, add some binaries there, and I think the projects are actually you can create like a do version tracking of the projects, which I didn't explore but looked pretty interesting. So let's create a new project, a non-shared project. I think you can actually collaborate with other people using Ghidra. I didn't test it, but that sounds actually really interesting. That's something which is a feature which is missing in IDA. Okay, project name, let's call it Ghidra Easy Peasy, because I'm going to start with Easy Peasy. That was one of my crackmes for which I created for the Dragon CTF finals, I believe. Oh, well, it was called Confidence CTF back then, or Confidence Dragon CTF, whatever. Okay, and now I need to import files to it. So I go here, import file, and let's go with Easy Peasy, and it's importing the file. It's actually a Linux executable, 32, or it says it's 64-bit, so maybe it's 64-bit. And the compiler is, the compiler is GCC. I guess I can choose as well Visual Studio. I don't see if there are only. Let's click on this and let's see what else is there. Oh, there are like multiple processors here, I guess. MIPS. Let's see what it supports actually. So yeah, this would be the CPU, which is in Atari, which is in Commodore, and a lot of other computers from that era, I guess. I'm not sure it's used actually nowadays for anything else. This is the CPU which was in Amiga computers. This is, I guess, a variant of this processor. No, or is it? No, I actually don't know what this is. Then 8251, I have, oh, that's probably a variant of this thing. This thing is a pretty popular embedded CPU or microcontroller even up to these days. 8085, I have no idea what it is. I'm assuming it's some older version of x86. Then we have ARC 64, which is a 64-bit assembler, like ARM assembler. Then 32-bit ARM assembler. Several variants of it actually. Then AVR 32-bit. I didn't know there was 32-bit AVR. AVR is what you have in Arduino. That's 8-bit AVR though. That's like the Atmega processors basically. And 32-bit AVR, I knew there was a 32-bit version, but I always assumed it's actually ARM. Well, whatever. I have no idea what this is. CR16C, I have no idea what this is. Dalvik. Dalvik, wasn't that some virtual machine for Java or something? I actually don't know. Data, well, data is data. Then we have some PIC processors. DS, I wonder if it stands for like digital signal processing. I'm not sure about these ones. Then JVM, okay, it actually can do JVM, that's pretty cool, like Java Virtual Machine. Then MIPS, was for example in PlayStation Portable, it's in some small office, home office routers and like, access points and so on. Pretty popular. And I'm pretty sure I have in the basement, like from 94, an actual, let's call it desktop or server grade MIPS. Then we have more PICs and PowerPC, PowerPC being the IBM architecture basically. It was in some older Macintosh computers like Apple Macs. And I'm not sure where else you can find it. I know that there are some servers running on PowerPC, but I'm not sure about other stuff. Oh, we have Spark. Spark being the Sun Spark architecture, or now Oracle, I guess, which is also a server architecture more than anything else. Well, in all honesty, on my university, we did have workstations on Spark. Then TI-MSP for free. I'm not sure what this is. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere, but I never played with it. Then Toy. I have no idea what Toy might be. x86, obviously, then, and Z80 is at the end of the list. Z80 being, again, one of the old school CPUs. I think, like, Amstrad computers had it, probably some Game Boys, and maybe Nintendo, early Nintendo consoles. I'm kind of guessing, but if my mind doesn't, if my mind recalls correctly, that's actually the case. Okay, I see that the stream died, So, okay, I think the stream is back again, so it should work. Sorry, I just noticed that in obs the state is red. So okay, I guess we are going to totally use this, which is x86 little endian 64-bit default whatever that is, and GCC as the compiler, which is totally correct. Destination folder, we can see what's in the options. I'm actually quite curious. Did I click? Yeah. Apply processor defined labels. Anchor, I have no idea. Create export symbol files, sure. Load external libraries, and I can put. That's actually really cool. Perform symbol relocation, yeah, sure. I wonder if it actually allows to relocate the executable after loading it. It's one of the features in IDA which is super useful at some points, so I hope that's the case. Import non-loaded data. This is something which is by default off in IDA Pro, so I like it being on, so that's fine. And fix up unresolved symbols. I'm not sure what that means, but since like a Ghidra specific option. Okay, and it's yeah, whatever. Just go away. Okay, and we get a nice report. So let's see what do we have here. The default stuff, then like how many instructions are there. But that's like, I'm pretty sure there are more than 87 instructions in this. I'm not sure what this is actually. Or like, is this 87 different instructions, like unique instructions? 77 functions, 140 symbols, 34 data types, and yeah, we just created it. And there is a list of libraries and ELF source file, which is really nice, but it actually listed it. Okay, that's a nice report. And yeah, and it was not able to get any more information because it was not able to find these libraries, which is fair. Okay, now once we have it, we can actually press the dragon icon here, which is perfect. And we get this nice animation if it was 95. And it loads. And this is how it looks like. And I guess what I like about the layout is that it's like we have a listing here and the compilation here. We have a program tree, whatever this is here. Let's load the file and let's see. So let's click open. And from the project, we can see the files which are here, which is really nice. So yeah, it has not been analyzed. Yes, please analyze it. And I guess I can choose some options here. For example, what is this? Finds valid code in undefined bytes that have not been disassembled. This should not be run unless good code has been already found. Okay, let's not. Apply, known. Yeah, there are like several things here. It's a prototype for dwarf line numbers. I would like it, like dwarf line numbers. Dwarf is actually the debugging, like the debugging symbols for ELF files. So you know, dwarf for ELF files. Fantasy all around. And the number of a line should be there as well. So let's use that. And there are some other things. I'm not going to go through them, but let's see how it goes. Okay, and it, I guess, analyzes. You cannot see this because I guess we can make it a little bit smaller. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, the analysis has a progress bar here, but it already finished, I guess. So, okay, and since it's already finished, let's just do this. So, okay, what do I have here? In the program tree, I have the sections which are defined. These are, as you know, ELF files have segments and sections. So segments basically define memory segments, and the sections are then embedded in those segments, or at least that's the idea, because it can be quite random at what is what actually. Okay, cool. But what I want is an entry point, actually. This is, as you can see, it opened on the header of the ELF file, which is another nice touch, that it actually shows what is what in the header. I don't think IDA does this, so this is pretty nice already. Yeah, so let's look at functions. And we do have symbols, so yeah, we can, I guess, Yeah, main is already marked. Let's just go here. Could you tell me on the chat, is the font too small for you or is it readable? Because if the font is too small for you, I can rescale the virtual machine. So please let me know. I know that surprisingly there are some people watching this on a cell phone, so yeah. Okay, main, and we went to main and we got the decompile output even without touching anything. This is cool. I like it. I like having like this side-by-side view. So let's click here, and yeah, it actually like moves on the left. That's pretty cool. In IDA you can do the same, but you have to like click tab every time. But here it actually like, if I click on the left, then it selects on the right, like highlights on the right what section am I in. Now let's play. Okay. In IDA, usually when I press space, it would give me this nice graph view of a function, which I really like. But here I have to click this icon and I get this thing, but it's, I guess, still working. So let's give it a shot. Yeah, so I know Ghidra has the option to increase font size, but increasing the font size in Ghidra actually increases like this font size and this font size, but it does not increase like the helper windows, for example. Okay, so it seems you're saying that the font is actually okay. It's okay, okay. If it's okay, that's fine. How much is IDA license? IDA there's a free version for personal non-commercial usage, which supports only, I think, 2 or 3 architectures. And then you have to, well, basically you have to buy either the IDA basic version or IDA Pro version, and that starts from, I don't know, like 600 up to 800, I think. And then on top of that, you'd have to buy a decompiler for each platform, and the decompilers are a little bit more expensive. Actually, if you go to the IDA side, you can just find the how much it costs. I might be mixing the prices because if you renew the license, like renew the support license, it's actually cheaper. So yeah, I might have those prices in mind. But yeah, I like a full-blown IDA for the, like with all the decompilers, is over, I think, $5,000 if I'm not mistaken. Dalvik is a VM for Android. Perfect. Okay. Oh, and if I could click on it, there would be a description. Cool. Oh, this is cool. It's the same in IDA. I can also like just go on a pointer and then scroll the stuff. Okay, that's cool. So what about my, not this, what about my graph view? So yeah, the graph view looks actually pretty cool. There is this mini map here. I cannot zoom it more though. Well, okay. Oh wow, this is really cool, like the if else. Well, it's quite obvious it's if else, but it's still fine. How do I do? Oh, if I have my mouse cursor on this. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. Like it animates the input and output of a function. So yeah, that's pretty cool. How can I recolor this? Oh, just clicking here. Choose new color. I want this color. Oh wow, it even, okay, but I'm starting to like it. It has like the sample text and everything. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's usable. Okay, but if we have the compiled, oh, and it actually even recolored here. That's cool. Okay, if we have the compiled version, let's see what's going on in this crackme. So initialize a window. If we go here, then we have do some X stuff. X is the X11 protocol from, you know, like think about Linux user interface, like the graphical user interface. That's X11 protocol, and this is the low-level protocol for displaying Windowses on Windows on Linux. And usually you don't use it. Like usually you use GTK, or you use like Qt, or you use some other like libraries. There was at least another one which I don't remember the name now. But yeah, if you'd like, you can use the low-level protocol. So if you're thinking like WinAPI for Windows drawing, then this would be X11, would be for the same purpose, but on Linux. And yeah, so we open the display, and then we do like create a simple window, and we name the window easy peasy. I guess I can show you the crackme as well. I cannot run it on Linux though. Well, sorry, on Windows though, so I need to find it. Where is it? Yeah, it's you should be able to download it somewhere on my blog. I'm wondering if it will work because I have a totally different. Oh, it does work. Here we go. Yeah, so this is how the crackme looks like after executing it, and if you start entering text, it actually like goes here. So you have to enter the flag here, and this is what we are looking at. So as you can see, the like yeah, the easy peasy which you can see here is the same easy peasy which is displayed here. Cool. Okay, now I do not need to read it. What I would like to see is the list of strings. So window, do we have a list of strings? Because commonly when I'm reverse engineering something, it doesn't have symbols, so being able to see the list of strings is pretty cool. Okay, well, I guess this is a list of strings, but not super readable. But we also get to this. Yeah, that's fine. This looks good. So I want to see where this string is actually used. How do I do that? I'm double clicking and the window is not disappearing, but maybe, oh yeah, it moved. Okay, that's fine. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's actually surprisingly good. Like for something which no one knew about, that there is like this interactive disassembler exists, and then suddenly, boom, you get a really good interactive disassembler, it seems. So yeah, and I now want to know where this string is actually used. Well, I know, but I want to check. So references at the bottom, and there is like show references to the address. I don't know if you can see it, you cannot see it. So let me make it a little smaller and move here so you can see the context window as well. Okay, references, and yeah, show references to address. And it's being referenced in 2 places. Oh no, it's actually the same location, but displayed twice. First when the context is parameter, I guess, and the other is data. Whatever, let's just move here. Did we move here? Yeah. And being here, we can just here, right? Oh, I guess it's the same line, so it doesn't show. But is it the same location? Yeah, it is the same location. Okay, so that's cool. And to go back in locations, I can press, like on the browser, arrows and out. Okay, so we could backtrack to this, which is really cool. And is there anything interesting here? I don't think so. So let's see where this function was actually referenced or called. And okay, there is no, like, this context menu, if I click here, is actually missing a couple of options. What's fall through? Okay, whatever. Get call tree, because I want to know where it's called. So main is called by this, and I want, oh, that's cool, incoming. So it was called from this function and it calls these functions. That's cool. In IDA you can actually get a graph of this as well. But this is a really nice list. And you can actually like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's use this feature actually here. So let's click on main, references, show call tree, and outgoing. What do we have? We have just like analyzing the outgoing calls is already a pretty huge thing. Yeah, this is what we looked at. Then there is a clock, draw window, create image, draw animation, sinus, draw text, put image, and draw text. What is this function? If we jump here, it's actually like a function which doesn't call any other functions. That's why there is no no plus here. And this looks like a standard font rendering. If you have a bitmap font and you ever implemented a bitmap font, then this is the typical bitmap font implementation or actually rendering. Just a loop which basically checks if there is a color, and if there is a color, then draw it. If there is no color, then do not draw it, because you want to have like this transparency underneath the font instead of a background, right? So that's basically it. So frame, meaning frame, is a frame buffer of the window in this case. Oh yeah, it was really NSA who actually used it, like released it, sorry, and used it too. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. What do they do here? Oh, that's probably... Can I rename the locals? How do I rename? Edit function signature. No, I don't. Oh, okay, but let's look at this. If I could change the function signature, that's a nice list. And store it, well, it's pretty cool. Okay, but I want to rename this variable. Oh, rename L, and I want to call it. What do I call it? What is this about? Is it like? I'm trying to see where it's used. It looks like it's actually like the letter position, like char position, char pos. And it's actually, yeah, because we take it here and we increase it by... Okay, I want to display this in decimal. That's 18, right? I cannot display it in decimal. Can I display it as decimal here? Convert. Yeah, I can. Perfect. Oh, and it actually switched in the compiler view as well. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wonder why L is 2 for like switching. L is probably for like label. Or maybe N was taken for something else. Cool. So there's one difference when selecting something. In IDA, if you have your mouse on top of something, or like you do this, then all the other instances of this actually get highlighted. And that's not what's happening here. Like if I have my mouse only on this, then in IDA, this would get highlighted and this as well, because it's like the same substring, right? Additionally, for registers, IDA would actually, like if you highlight EAX, IDA would also highlight all references to AL, which is pretty amazing and really useful. And I'm see that's not what's happening here. Let's see if I can actually like just do text searching. Yeah, that works. That's fine as well. Okay, so this is draw text and I already looked at it. Then export image. Let's see how this actually works. This is a jump to something, and that something is... If I click here and I click here, yeah, that looks pretty weird, but I guess like the arrow there is kind of saying that this is an external thing. I'm not really sure how to interpret it, but let's assume, yeah, this is in the... What section am I in? How do I check which section am I in? These are the sections, right? I'm pretty sure I'm in the God section, but no, not really. God PLT section, but it's not written anywhere, or is it? No, I don't think it's written anywhere. I don't think in IDA it's written anywhere either. I can middle click. Okay, what? Oh, nice. Thank you, Patrick. If I middle click on something, then it gets selected. Okay, perfect. Hey, that's actually even better. well, it would be better if my mouse wouldn't have infinite scroll, and then each time I click middle click it actually scrolls, but I can disable infinite scroll. So okay, let's click OK, and it does the same. As you can see, I like highlighted EAX, and it actually highlighted RAX, which is, you know, the extension of EAX register as well. Okay, that's pretty nice. I like it. It's a feature I really use in IDA, so I'm really happy to see it here as well. So thank you again for pointing it out. Oh, I see like half of the chat actually started saying middle click, middle click. Okay, got it. Thank you, thank you. Cool. So we were reverse engineering this challenge. Then we do useDeep, and so okay, we can actually look at this function. What do we need is actually like figuring out who is calling the, sorry, who is calling the draw text? I don't see where draw text is being called. This. What? Well, by the way, what is this selection here? Like, why is this background here pretty weird? Well, okay, whatever. Pcode, XML comms, unknown tag in function scope. So, okay. I guess that means I cannot use a disassembler to, sorry, a decompiler to look at it. And there's like this string called password here. So let's switch to the graph view. In that case, and yeah, let's zoom in and let's explore. What do we have here? Is in the draw window. So we have this, we have draw animation, draw text. How many draw texts do we have? Can I middle click here? I can middle click here. And there's another draw text here and another draw text here. I do not understand what this is. Like move ECX equals greater than, or is it an arrow password? Or should I just read like this is move ECX to password? But this isn't fully readable, but I guess that's the meaning. Like, or does that mean that ECX currently at this moment is actually pointing to password? Okay, well, in any case, I put ECX into, or password into ECX, and then I call draw. So this draws the flag which I'm typing in. And then if something happens, it calls great work. It compares actually draw good work. Okay, so this flag. So we need to figure out where this flag is set. So can I right click? Oh, I can right click here. How nice. Show references to this address. Oh, now there's one amazing feature in Ghidra which I'm missing in IDA, and is that like if you do, I don't know, let's break something. How do I break something? Edit label, comments. Let's just see this. Yeah, so I've broken something, and I can actually press undo and it will revert the state, which is amazing. Because in IDA, if you like, I don't know, you run a script and the script like totally butchers your dead code listing, right? Then you're like, I guess I'm starting from scratch. But here you can actually ctrl-z, so which is what you would expect actually, right? Alt F4 to display source code. There was this joke when we played StarCraft 1 that if somebody joined like a game lobby and they didn't have the map, so the map started to download, there was this meme that press 4 to make the download faster, and people started spamming 4. And then you said, well, actually it works only if you hold Alt as well, which, yeah, I guess is what you're suggesting on the chat. That I do, but I won't do that. Okay, where is this draw good work being set? I don't see where it's set. Where is this draw good work being? Let's just go there. Location is not defined or undefined function. Why? Well, it is defined. It's defined here. It's and it's actually used in several places. And verify password. Perfect. Verify passwords is something I would like to analyze very much. Thank you. So verify password. If the password size is 15, what is 15? I guess it's 19 decimal, but well, 21 decimal, sorry. But let's assume I cannot, because as proven, I cannot do into hexadecimal. So let's do this again. Convert, yeah, 21. Yeah, what is this background appearing here? I don't fully understand the idea. Looks like a glitch. Okay, and then for every letter, I calculate the MD5 out of it. In IDA 3, you do not have a decompiler, and here you have a decompiler for free. This is just one reason to recommend it to like, you know, everyone who doesn't have an IDA Pro license with decompilers. We should put some other architecture code there shortly. I'm really wondering if the decompiler will work there as well, because it will get a little bit more tricky. Does the decompiler work on some, you know, intermediate language, or does it work on actually that language? So yeah, I'm going to find some 8051 code in a second, I guess. Okay, and then it compares, so it calculates the hash of a letter, and what's the length of the update? I+1, so it calculates, for the first letter, it calculates the hash of only one letter, then of 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters, and so on. And then it compares with an array of good hashes. Let's go for good hashes. And the good hashes are here, which doesn't, they are displayed in a weird way. Can I display, how do I display how do I change the type of good hashes? Can I actually like set a decent type? Data, create an array, number of array elements, but it's not the type I want. Data, choose type. Okay, here we go. So 21 and, oh, what's this? Data type indexer task. Just popped out of nowhere. Yeah. Has the NSA agency released the code? No, it didn't. We checked a couple of, like, 20 minutes ago and it was not there. Yeah, so I think that this is fine, but this is not a char, it's more like an unsigned char. And it actually yeah, I don't want to use any types. Okay. So what is amazing for me is that it actually like knew that this is going to be the type which is used. That's actually really good. I guess it derived it from the DWARF symbols because it was there. So yeah, if we brute force it, then like brute force the letter by letter, then we get all the hashes and we can. So let's take a look at the first hash actually. Can we copy this hash in some sane way? I want to copy just like the, how do I copy? Copy special. Let's do this. Copy, I cannot copy special data. Okay, copy. What will this copy for me? Let's maybe do it here. Let's put a decent name. And it copied how many? Well, it didn't copy all the bytes, right? It copied 15 out of 16 bytes. Perfect. Okay, what do I do? There is this epsilon here, and I want to. Is it called an epsilon? I think it's called an epsilon. Is there a hex editor or hex view? I want to see the hex view. Window, and disassembled view, find data, data preview, memory map. It's a memory map. Oh, it's this, a section map. Alright, that's cool. That's what's ctrl-z in IDA. I'm pretty sure I saw a hex view yesterday. Yeah. Find data? No, that's not it. Where's the, like it should say hex view or something. Second option, bytes. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, bytes. Thank you, chat folks. Okay, now, so I want to actually move it here. Okay. Now this is this address. Is it synchronizing? If I like click here. Yeah, it is synchronizing. That's cool. So here, okay. And now let's say I just want to copy it. Edit. Where's the copy? Alright, that's cool. Just copied it. There is no ASCII view? Alright. Okay, now having this, I guess I can just Google it. So yeah, and let's Google this hash and see if we get the first letter. Yeah, we got the first letter, and the first letter is D. Slack, why? What? Alright, yeah, D. Which makes sense because if I remember correctly, the flag format was just like D, R, G, and S, and then the flag. So that makes total sense. And yeah, it's totally usable as a disassembler and the compiler for an easy case. So let's upload now something more into Ghidra, so don't save. I actually like it. It's the interface looks like something that was pulled off Windows 98, which I guess like the question is like how old is this project? Like when did they actually create it? But apart from that, yeah, one more thing which I'm going to show you is this. No, not data types. Where was it? This? Yeah, script manager. This is what I'm looking for, but I guess I have to. Yeah, so they have a lot of helper scripts, and the helper scripts are either in Java or in Python. I'm quite curious about the Python API, but I'm not sure I'm going to take a look at it today. But there are some interesting scripts here, so that's also pretty cool. And I like the manager, how it looks. Okay, so let's create a new project. Oh, I'm going to actually look at the questions if there are any questions right now. And then I'll put another target into Ghidra. So the questions will appear here if there are any. And there are a couple, 4. Again, if you have questions, then do chat with this guy, like Foxtrot Charlie, because Foxtrot will be able to pass me the questions and I will be able to answer them. Heigenvale, do you think Rust will make C++ obsolete due to its safety features? It's a good question. I do not believe it will make it obsolete just because there is already like megatons of software written in C and C++, which means it will still, the software will still have to be developed or you need to rewrite it to Rust, and that will not happen. And yeah, like folks just like C and C++, so probably no. Another thing is that safety features are one thing, right? And there are a lot of people who care about security of their products, and then there is the rest of the world. So not everyone, takes like security as the priority and like, let's choose a language for the project, which is the most secure one, and where you have this like security by default approach. It's more like, okay, we need to make this like website or whatever, the new application for next week. What language are we going to use? Java, JavaScript. Let's go with JavaScript. That is what's going to happen. So, yeah, I would love Rust to be used everywhere, but like even before there were languages which were considered to be safer than C and C++, like Ada, for example, right? But they never found enough traction, I guess. Okay, another question. Do you or colleagues already actively use Ghidra at work? I don't do too much reverse engineering at work, in all honesty, and I didn't look what my other teammates are using, so I guess that's one answer. The other answer is I do not think the adoption in companies will happen too fast, because companies which specialize in reverse engineering and do a lot of reverse engineering have already idle licenses with all the decompilers, and they know how to use it. So switching to a different software, well, yeah, maybe for like if you're interested, or sorry, or if you do not have like you need to get new software, right, and learn new software, then why not? But otherwise, I don't expect anyone to switch right away, or to switch at all. Do you have the crackme download link? Yeah, that is a good question. Let me take a quick look. Do I still have the browser open? Here we go. Let's try with Gunveil, easy peasy. There was a... Yeah, I did already reverse it here on the live stream. Do I have a link here? It is here. So yeah, you have to find this video. Basically, like, it was like literally the first hacking live stream I ever did in English. And wow, that was a long time ago. And yeah, the link will be here, so you can download it here. There's also Rara here, which is a Python 500 points reverse engineering challenge, which is a little bit more crazy, but Ghidra doesn't support Python, I believe, so that doesn't matter. I guess I can give you the link to this video. Here you go, and here you go. Cool. Now, another question from Dashin. With all those massive data leakage, what would you do if you found your email in haveibeenpwned.com beside changing your password? Well, use two-factor authentication. That usually helps a lot. But apart from that, it's a good question. I mean, the question would be, why did your email leak? And also the question is like, did your email address leak, or did your email content leak, or is your password which you actually see there, is it actually the real password, right? Because like, I'm pretty sure folks are selling left, right, and center databases which don't have real passwords, because why not, right? Like, they grab like some passwords, real passwords, some non-real passwords, and hey, I have like 2 times larger database, and some passwords don't work. Yeah, that's normal, but I'm not sure folks who buy that do actually statistics analysis on it. Anyway, just like a hypothesis of mine. But what would I do apart from that? The question would be, why did it leak and how did it leak, right? Did it leak because of something I did, or did it leak because something like somewhere else failed? For example, the email provider got hacked and all the database they had leaked, or maybe something was running on my computer and leaked my password. And depending if I know that or if I don't know that, then I would take different actions. Like, changing the provider might be one idea, but maybe not changing it might be a good idea as well. You have to think about, like, are the attackers still there on the systems, like have backdoors somewhere, or maybe no, maybe it's okay to, like, better to change to a different email provider. On the other hand, if it leaked because you had something installed on your computer, then, well, it's a good question, but basically hunt it down and see what exactly leaked your password. That's the important part, and get rid of it somehow. For example, like, take away your hard disk, put in a new hard disk, install the operating system from scratch. That's not always enough. If the attacker is really good and owned your firmware, then that might not help. You probably remember the press articles from a couple of years ago when everyone was laughing that, like, NSA or Pentagon or whoever started destroying everything, including the keyboards and mice, because they suspected something was wrong and didn't want to risk it. Well, that isn't stupid if you think about it, like, because a lot of mouse and, like, keyboards have their own firmware. Like, I'm pretty sure all of the keyboards and mouse which I have on my desks on my desk right now have firmware and can be hacked via the firmware can be hacked. So yeah, if you suspect that, then get a new computer from a safe and secure and checked reseller, I guess. But that is a different level of paranoia, right? Otherwise, I guess, yeah, just like reinstall the operating system and try not to run any applications from your old hard drive. Just get the data. Any plans for the ASM tutorials you have on your other channel in English? You said you might make them again, but as paid looking for news. This is still what I want to do. Before I go there is one more thing I want to do, and that is start the paged out free magazine for hackers, programmers, security experts, and so on. And I'm really close to announcing the call for papers for that magazine. So keep checking my blog about that, and also I guess like YouTube and so on, and Discord and IRC. But after I'm done with that, the next project I'm taking on is the tutorials, which are, I'm probably going to start with something simpler than assembly, like a short tutorial just to do a tech demo for myself and see if anyone is interested. That would be how to edit and how to analyze binary files and how to work with binary files, hex editors, and so on. This will be for the beginners. And then if that works out, then the assembly tutorials. That's my plan. Hopefully like next couple of months, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. What can you do to protect your code in Python if you sell an application? I actually do have a whole chapter about that in my book, which is not available in English. I'm sorry. Anyway, so there are several things which you can do, and thank you for your videos from Alter Ego, and that's 1000 MXN. I have absolutely no idea what MXN is, but sounds pretty amazing. Let's see, MXN and CHF. That would be $50. Perfect. That's one of the bigger donations I've got, so thank you very much. I'm totally like super happy every time I get a donation like this with, you know, thank you for your videos, because that means that my content is actually meaningful for you folks, and then that makes me really happy, so thank you for that. Now, to get back to the question, there are several obfuscators for the Python code which use this or that technique, but apart from that, there are actually compilers for Python which compile Python into C++, and then you use like Visual Studio, for example, to compile that C++. And it still uses the CPython implementation. It uses the CPython DLL, and you need to have it there, but your code is actually compiled into C++. So if somebody wants to reverse engineer it, they have to go through the pain of reverse engineering Python code compiled into calls to a lot of calls and a lot of logic code to the API, and that also brings it into the territory of obfuscation for x86 code, and you can do a lot of amazing stuff there. So you can use like an x86 obfuscator then. At the end of the day, if somebody is, you know, interested and they have time, nothing can protect you, because like using anti-reverse engineering techniques, what you do is you buy time. The more tricks you use, the more time you buy. But for every week you spend basically on working on anti-reverse engineering tricks, you get like 1 hour. And so if you like have a team working a year on that, you get like a couple of days at most. At least that's my take on it. Okay. Any thoughts on the Qira debugger? So Qira isn't, I wouldn't call it a debugger, but we can call it a debugger. Basically, the idea behind Qira is that you record the state of the application at any point, and then you can explore the recorded application state. And it works well with IDA, for example. And it was written by GeoHot, who is like this really amazing hacker. Like amazing to the point where like going against a team of CTF players on a CTF, and he still wins the CTF on his own. he's like top notch, right? And Qira is a really amazing tool as well. What do I think about it? Well, it was never, the usability of it wasn't really the greatest. I had some problems with it, but it is a useful tool. As far as such tools go, I actually written my engineer's thesis, which is like a bachelor thesis in Poland, about a super similar system to that, but he made one which actually worked, which is pretty amazing. So I like that tool. I like the idea behind that tool, and if you can get it to work and it works well for you, it can be really a valuable tool in your reverse engineering inventory. That's my take on it. Off topic, but is there a way to send raw USB packets on Linux? So for example, instead of initiating a USB control transfer, send the setup packet and then the data packet one by one. Excellent question. It actually depends on the chipset as far as I'm concerned. So it might be a little bit more tricky, like if you have like a typical PC, that might not be possible. If you have like a Raspberry Pi, or rather than a Raspberry Pi, what's it called? Oh, come on. Give me a sec. I hope it has a name on it. Odroid. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Odroid, with Odroid you can, this can actually be used to emulate a USB device, and then depending on what the chipset there is allowing you to do, you might be able to send individual packets. In the end, if you really care about sending like bit for USB, then you have to go with FPGAs. And ideally something which is actually, can be fast enough to do USB protocol, whichever USB protocol you need. If that's USB 1.0 or like 1.2 or whatever, that's like every FPGA should be able to do it. Otherwise, if you're thinking about 2.0, then you need to think about more expensive FPGAs. Yeah, and as for Arduino, maybe, as in, I think you can do USB 1.2 to some extent with Arduino, but Arduino is kinda slow, and it's kinda on the like, you need a little faster thing to comfortably do USB. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Arduino is like barely fast enough to be able to send USB packets, if I remember correctly. And I did see some like keyboard pretending to be keyboard Arduinos, for example. Something more interesting might be reversing a weird architecture like MIPS or AVR with Ghidra. Yeah, I'm going to put 8051 in Ghidra in a sec. Since the main focus is on the decompiler, I'm quite curious if the decompiler works. So the best supervisor, this is exactly what I'm thinking too. Ad blockers are messing with requests on the Google search engine. Even after using pretty common words, the Google engine is giving me 0 results. Do you know why is this happening? I have actually no idea. So, I don't know. That's pretty weird. I don't know. Best hacking game you've played? I like Uplink. We actually had a live stream about hacking games at some point. I think it was in English, and I remember getting a lot of copyright strikes for music, which it took me like 3 appeals to get rid of. But yeah, because it's actually okay according to Steam default license to stream games, by the way, if you didn't know. Anyway, it's a good question. For example, you might know that we had... So okay, the question is hard for me because I didn't finish a lot of the games like that. I played several ones and they were pretty cool, but I never finished any of them. The games I did finish, which are like hacking games, were the games from the Genvale winter game dev challenge, which I made with Live Overflow, you know, a couple of months ago, and there were like games just like that, right? You're a hacker and you have to help the Space Marines like explore an abandoned space station. That was the idea, and there were some really cool games there, and I really enjoyed one. So let me just recommend one. I know this is like not a professional game, not a full game, but I still really like the games which are there, so I still want to recommend them. And I'm basically talking about like the top 3 games. The Unveil Winter Game Dev Challenge, here we go, and winners. Yeah, basically like look at these games, these, for example, Sigma 18 and Haxor 2000. I really enjoyed playing this game, it was really fun. There wasn't that much hacking, but like overall it was pretty amazing, and Haxor 2000 was amazing as well. So try out these games, you can play from the browser, just click to play here, and that's it, and you can play them. And the link is like Ghidra Winter Game Dev Challenge, so GWGC, and Ghidra.tv. Oh, Gabe A, donation. Thank you very much for the donation. I'm looking to write a DNP3 protocol fuzzer. I am unfamiliar with SCAPI and Sule, though ages costs. Are there any tutorials that you know of to get started? What's the DNP3 protocol, by the way? DNP3 protocol? Distributed network. I have no idea what that is. How do I... No, that probably will not help you folks too much. Oh, it's SCADA stuff. Okay. Good question, actually. Well, first of all, do learn the protocol unless you already know it. Second of all, it's an excellent question. So it's a good question because I personally would not use SCAPI or Sule. I would write my own fuzzer because I usually write my own fuzzers. I know this is basically a non-answer for somebody who didn't do that in the past and has no experience for that. So yeah, no idea. Well, I guess if you're unfamiliar with SCAPI, then you can learn SCAPI, because why not? I mean, for the future, that might be pretty useful for you. But otherwise, I guess the idea behind protocol fuzzers is just to write a tunnel where you get the input, like for example, you man in the middle something. So you get the input, then you have your fuzzer, which is just a tunnel. It gets from one direction and passes to the other direction, and does mutations in the middle. That's the most basic fuzzer which you can write. But then getting proper input is a different thing. Getting detection is a different thing totally. So it's a pretty complex problem actually writing good network fuzzers. So I don't think there's a single answer to that. We might want to do a live stream about that at some point. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's no single answer for that, sorry. Is there an option in IDA to redraw the graph connections after moving the blocks? Yes. I don't remember how, but it was quite easy. I think you just right-click somewhere and there should be an option to like redistribute the blocks. But yes, there is. Okay, perfect. Let's put something else in Ghidra in that case. If there will be any new questions, then just let me know. I will try to answer them at the end of the stream. So, yeah. Yeah, this is the comment I was looking for. Switch here. What are we going to look at in that case? What do I have here? PHP, this is... out of curiosity, I'm going to quickly put this core file here. This is a core file, which means it's a memory dump, a structured, like an ELF file memory dump of PHP. And I actually made like a challenge for that as well at some point. So yeah, let's just create a new project. PHP core Ghidra. So do I need import? Okay. What I'm looking to find out is, can Ghidra actually, Ghidra actually import a core file? Because that would be pretty amazing if it could. Yeah, it seems it can. Let's see if I can see like a memory map. Yeah, there is a memory map, and you know, these are all the libraries and so on. I guess you can see part of a window here. Of like the... Wow, it will take some time to disassemble it, but it's a pretty large file, so that's fine. Oh, is it? What size? 10 megabytes. Okay. Okay, so what I want to see also is like because a core file is created at a certain moment, right? It's basically a snapshot of a process which was running, which means that there should be information about the registry state of all the registers and like of all the threads which are basically running. Oh, what is this? This is cool. So I'm not sure if I have that information actually. Well, GDB could show it anyway, so that doesn't matter. But it could open a core file, which is cool. Well, core on the other hand is just an ELF file. So, oh, wait, yeah, I want to cancel. Oh, it actually beeped at me. Alright. Then I have a crackme, which is an x86 crackme, if I remember correctly. So let's not go over. And this is a 16-bit crackme, but I think I looked at it yesterday and it actually... I don't remember if the compiler worked. Yeah, I think that the compiler worked, but it looked kind of funny. Well, we can take a look. Oh, I think I've actually a project for that, yeah. This one, let's see. So this is 16-bit x86, written in Turbo Pascal, by the way. And yeah, it can decompile as well, which is pretty amazing. But being said, if I remember correctly, IDA actually had the benefit that while it couldn't decompile, it had flirt symbols for Turbo Pascal. Which, I mean, in all honesty, if this is a new tool, nobody cares about Turbo Pascal crackmes except for the CTF scene probably, or folks who like doing reverse engineering. So that's okay, that's fine for a new tool to not be able to to know of Turbo Pascal library functions or anything like that. Alright, in that case I need to find something which is a little bit has a little weirder architecture, so let's do just that. I'm going to, in that case, where is it? Sorry, this is going to take a couple of moments. Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, this is 8051. Oh wait, but I cannot do it. Oh no, I should be able to do it still. Yeah, this is this file. It's 8051. It's taken from one of my displays from the memory controller. You know, the main board, which is in your display, which is getting HDMI signal on one side and then chatting with the actual LCD panel. So I dumped the EPROMs from that, like EPROMs from that, and I started to learn how a monitor actually works. So let's see if Ghidra actually can help me with that. So non-short 8051. But you know, if you press a button on a display, then the menu shows up. What is rendering the menu? Well, you actually do have a CPU in your LCD, which does that. Okay, and then we need to import. And we take this one. And yeah, this is a raw binary. Now the language. We need to select, I'm going to filter over 8051. And it says that it's big endian. I do not remember if it's big or little endian. I'm going to trust it. Then there are variants. There is a MX51, whatever. This is like from NXP or Philips, and then there is the default one. Let's go with default one. And oh, there's the Archimedes compiler. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the Archimedes compiler. It was done by ctrl-z, if I got my symbols right. Oh, and there is like the block name. I don't know what the block name is. Code offset, file offset, and length. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And it did something, which is cool. And now let's see, what do we get? Okay, so now open. Yes, please analyze. Yes, do stuff. And it's done stuff. Okay, stuff has been done. Okay. Oh wow, this is interesting. Oh yeah, this is like register banks. Then the code. Did it get any functions for me? No, it did not get any functions for me. Okay. So what happens if I press here? Oh, this is probably not the code yet. Or is it? I'm going to press, what do I press to get disassemble D? Perfect. Ooh, the decompiler works. That's nice. It's kind of pseudocode, but it still works. It's pretty nice. Okay. Let's do... I don't know, let's try this. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is the code, if I remember correctly, which does... Okay, yeah, this is it. This is the code which does bank switching. So each of... It's like this, that there are... because this is an 8-bit CPU with 16-bit pointers, if you want to have an application which is larger than 16 bits, like, larger than occupying the address space of 16 bits, which is 64 kilobytes. So if you want an application which is larger than 64 kilobytes, you actually need to split it into banks of memory. Like, so you have banks of 64 kilobytes, and then your code, when you want to call a function which is in the other bank, you actually call a function which switches the banks. And the code which is doing the switching of the banks is like all of the banks at the beginning have the same code which does the switching of the banks. And yeah, so it switches the banks and starts to execute code from that bank. And if you want to go back, then you have to switch the bank again to the previous bank. So yeah, a bank and memory, meaning just like you have a 16-bit virtual space of memory, well, actually physical space of memory in this case, and you are just switching which EEPROM dice you are looking at. That's actually one EEPROM dice, but whatever. So these functions are actually like switching banks. So, and X, memory, and bank are 7. Wow, this is actually better than IDA. Like, and the information it actually gives me. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's go back. So this is, yeah, sets to bank 0, and let's look at this, for example. And this sets to bank 3, or does it set to bank 3? Okay, and if I click disassemble, oh. Yeah, it's still the same function. It's still the same. Yeah, this one is different. And it says that it actually switches to bank 1. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. Does it have any help if I like hover over an instruction or something? Processor manual, instruction info. Ooh, yeah, that's cool. No, but I'm actually pretty amazed by this tool. I expected something that, you know, barely worked, but no, this is well done. Okay, so what does it do? There are 2 operands, okay. flow fall through, which is typical for instructions which are not jump instructions. Fall through means just execute the next instruction. And hash, okay, what does it do? Oh, but it doesn't say what does it do. Is there like a word exchange or something used here? I think that's an exchange. Okay, it's pretty cool info, but not what I was looking for. Processor manual. Oh, I do not have a processor manual. Okay, Ghidra is to include due to copyright issues. Yeah, copyright issues. Okay, I'm not sure I would call it issues, but that's fair enough. Oh, I should look for this manual. So let's just Google for that manual in that case. Okay. Okay, Kale. Yeah, Kale, they do produce compilers for this. Okay, so I guess it wouldn't... It's pretty cool, but it actually gives you the name of a manual. You know what you have to download. So yeah, let's look for this instruction. Okay, here we go. Exchange instruction interchanges the contents of accumulator with a register or memory location. Okay, that means like it's a swap, right? Cool. Yeah, so that's nice of it. I wonder if it could actually also go to a proper page in a PDF, but probably no. Someone from the community already added the 8051 manual. Okay, that's cool. That's what Zlatko said on the chat. Now, what I wonder about is there any way for me to switch banks easily? Because this is only one bank, right? And I guess I can add another another binary to this, and then just like have both binaries open and just switch between them in the same project, which is something not doable in IDA if I recall correctly. I wonder if I can jump between binaries using, because I know that the code which switches the banks, but it actually goes to the other binary, which means I know that if I see, sorry, where's the code? Yeah, if I see this code, right, that means like, for example, switch to bank, I don't know, like 3, and then jump to this offset in that bank. So if I would actually load bank number 3, could I actually, let's see, I'm going to get one more bank here. Was that bank 3? I think that's bank 3. So I'm going to, in that case, where is my project? Here is my project. I'm going to import bank 3. And again, 8051 and the default compiler, cool. Okay, and now here I'm going to open it. Yes, analyze it, yes, do stuff. Yeah, and I have it in 2 different tabs, but that's fine. Because it still would allow me to... Yeah, I wonder if now I could do something that like keep half of the bank, which I know has this like code to jump in between banks and also has like the default small functions to be, which are frequently used inside the bank, without switching to, can I just say it, please use these two at the like synchronize whatever is happening on this stuff, on these offsets between the banks, or should I still do it manually? It helps a little, but I can have it opened, I guess. Open div view. I can div, that's cool. Okay, bytes, labels, yeah, show me. Oh, that's really cool. Let me close with the compiler for a sec. That's nice. How do I close the div view? Alright. It has a lot of cool tools. So, yeah. I'm wondering if I have anything else which I could take a look at. It did say it has... it did say it has Java support, like there was JVM there, right? So, oh, I think I closed it. Too closed it, like too much. Okay, in that case, let's basically open Ghidra and Ghidra. Where are some class files or jar files? Do we need jar files, I guess? Okay, debug utils. I didn't know where debug utils. Oh, there is a source code of some stuff. That's cool. I wonder if everything has a source code, but whatever. So, new project, and let's try to open Java. Yeah, the help which is here is also pretty cool. Java. Or do I need to actually extract it? Okay, now import, and let me just move it. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is a VM I use so rarely. I think I used it last on the stream where we analyzed malware. So I have no idea what's here and where is that. Yep, okay. Yeah, refresh, come on, refresh. Did you refresh? You didn't refresh. Okay, single file batch file system. I want to import it as a file system. Okay. And I'm really interested in DB viewer class. Okay. Open file system chooser. What is this? I'm not sure that's what I wanted. Let's just extract it. Jars are zips, so I can just do this. Okay, DB class. Okay, raw binary. It's not a raw binary, it's a JVM file. Okay. Let's take a look. Perfect. It actually remembers the last setting, which isn't great. Disassemble the view. Okay. And open. Yes, analyze it. Okay. Didn't work well. How large is the file? Maybe I gave it like a file which is 10 bytes. No, it's pretty large actually. There's quite a lot of stuff here looking just on the strings, so... okay. Doesn't seem to work well. Or maybe that's not the idea with the JVM files. It should be able to open class files, like IDA has no problems with class files. And being able to open class files is cool if you're reverse engineering something which is written in Java but then obfuscated heavily. Okay, then I guess that didn't work as expected. So close tool, don't save. What else could we look at in that case? I'm trying to figure out if I have any ARM code lying around somewhere. Or MIPS code. But I actually don't think I have. So yeah, well, for Java, I guess it's not a big problem really, because you have a lot of Java decompilers, right? And you can decompile usually Java code if you need to. Oh, it's listing view thesaurus said, sorry. So let's take a look again. Maybe I really... yes, analyze it, yeah, do it. Window. What do you say is listing view? Or is it? Listing. Oh, here we go. Thank you. But didn't help too much, bro. Or do I have to click like D or something on this stuff? Yeah. This is the header of the file. Okay. But yeah, I still would expect it to actually, fill the functions. It has the function information in the class file. So it doesn't change anything, I think. But yeah, let me just show it to you. Or do I need to do something here as well? Like select all and let's see what happens. Okay. No, it didn't help too much. Anyway. Maybe that's... Oh, Alex is suggesting that it might be something related to nest members and nest hosts host attribute. I have no idea what that means. I actually am going to believe you, Alex, but that is the thing. You should patch attribute factory class. Nah, actually, I'm not super interested in Java again because the compiler is pretty rare, but you actually have to do that. But I guess in the future, yeah, if it's an easy fix, then we'll get to that. Cool, let's just go through a couple of questions then and call it a day, I guess. Yeah, like just go download Ghidra and take a look how it works for you. I'm going to play with it probably a little more as well. I do prefer IDA, but I am looking at other disassemblers as well. So it's a pretty cool tool. Yeah, it's way cooler than I expected, in honesty. So I will have no problems recommending it, especially for folks who are beginning, but also folks who just need something which doesn't cost like $5,000 and actually has disassemblers also for weird architectures, because it seems the disassembler, the compilers, but even though the compiler was rather simple in the output it generates, it does the job. Okay, the structure editor and function signature editor is, in my opinion, better than in IDA. You should check it out, the supervisor writes. Okay, checking it out then. So let's not maybe go here, but let's reopen, easy peasy. Don't save. Okay. Okay, so for function signature, I think I already, yeah, you did analyze it, you didn't save it? What happened? That's interesting. So let's go to the main function again. And yeah, so for function signature is this, and I also like it a lot. So let's say if I want to say float here, does that work? Enter commit edits, and it change, and the storage change as well according to the calling convention. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like it. I can change the calling convention as well to std call. Why does it select std call? Well, okay, on Linux that might be the std call, but it's actually usually called C declaration call, cdecl. But I do like it, that's pretty cool. And it actually does have the int arg c char arg v and char and pointer. Oh, okay, that works. Yeah, that works pretty well. So I agree. Structure editor. I did not look at the structure editor at all, and that will be probably what, the type editor? How do I open it? But I did look at types, I guess, previously a little bit. Okay, so let's just go somewhere here and do something weird with this string. So data, choose type. And can I do anything weird here? How do I create a struct? Or a type? Define data, no, data type manager. This is the data type manager. Can I add a new type? Export C header. Export, totally. Yes. Did you export it? Where did you put it? Let's put it somewhere here. No, seriously, where did you put it? I don't know where it put it. It's pretty weird. Ah, here we go. Structure editor. There's a comment and okay. So there are a couple of things which are super annoying in IDA when you're doing this editing. For example, let's say I want to add a new field and I want to define the type as float. And then I'm going to add a new field and I want to move this. I can move it. That's cool. And now let's say this is like char. And the float here, I want to change it to double because I changed my mind. Double doesn't, yeah, this is what I was really annoyed by in IDA, but I know it doesn't fit in 4 bytes, but I just want the next offset to be moved automatically, so I do not have to move it, but it seems it's the same thing, so... But what if I actually move this downstairs and change it to double, and it worked, and now I move it upstairs? That's actually fine. That's actually still pretty cool. So I like it. Now, an even better thing would be to be able to import, for example, or like create a new structure from selected component. That's cool. Yeah, so it would be cool to be able to edit it in C format, for example, because if I have a complex structure, then clicking and adding all the time doesn't really make too much sense, but whatever. Save, yes, save, and now I want to export C header, yes. Perfect, easy peasy. .h. Here we go. And it exported it. That's really cool. Yeah, so actually the export functions, I played a little with them yesterday and they seem to be really cool. Let's see if I can actually export program gzip C++. Yeah, do it. Okay, so it exported it to easy peasy. And I wonder if it has everything to be able to compile it. One way to find out, right? So let's compile it. GCC, easy peasy. Let's see. That didn't work too well. Oops. Because is it C++ code? Is that the problem? Invalid suffix for that's line number 324. Oh, okay. Well, well, this is not going to work. You cannot have a number at the beginning of the type. So, yeah, this is not going to work. It should have like prefixed it with this or whatever. So if it has problems like that, not yet. But actually, just looking at the amount of data and structures which it exported, perhaps it should be able to one should be able to just compile everything, and that would be really cool. Though there is another problem with actually, being able to, we know what this is, right? This is a function wrapper which calls another function which is actually in some DLL file or DSO file, right? But In this case, like looking at the code, this is an infinite loop, a recursive loop. Well, not really infinite, it will crash really, really soon. So yeah, there's that too. So yeah, it might be still pretty useful if you can work around that, because you usually have to work around that anyway, so I'm not holding it against Ghidra, but that's that. Okay, so the supervisor, thank you for pointing it out. The structure editor and the signature editor. Does this arc not have common function prologues? I'm not sure which are you talking about 8051, then I'm not sure. I have no idea. 6 months ago, French National Cybersecurity Agency has released secure Linux distribution based on Gentoo. And now NSA releases Ghidra. What is the reason behind it? That's a good question. Maybe they decided it's not really an advantage for them to keep it hidden, or they want to do something for the community because why not? Or also they want to benefit from how the community is going to contribute into Ghidra, and I'm pretty sure the community is going to do that. So there might be multiple reasons. What are my thoughts on Sans 760? What's Sans 760? Oh, it's an advanced exploitation development training from Sans. For penetration testers. I have no idea. I didn't go through this training, so I have no idea. I can look, I guess, on the syllabus. Thread modeling, reversing, and okay, advanced Linux exploitation. What do you have here? Okay, how patch diffing, one day exploits was fine. Return-oriented shellcode. I thought always, but well, whatever. Windows kernel debugging, heap overflows. Okay, how many days is this? That's my question. Is this like a live training where you... Oh, here we go. It's a 5-day training if my calculations are okay. Or 6-day. I mean, it looks pretty cool. Yeah. If you have the cash, then why not? And Sans also has like a decent reputation, so... Okay, are there any other questions? If not, then we will be calling it a night. So thank you for all of you for being here. Especially that my channel finally has over 20,000 subscribers, which I'm super happy about, my English channel. And yeah, it's going to reach 21,000 subscribers pretty soon. So yeah, that makes me like really, really happy. So thank you. And speaking of thank you to Foxtrot Charlie for being today's moderator and for his help with everything, as well as, you know, to the other folks in my team, Shaku, Mariusz Disconnected, and so on. So yeah, I guess we're going to call it today. So see you next week. Next week, I'm not sure what the topic will be. We might continue with the IRC bot, or we might do something else. I still have to decide, so let's see. And next week, because I will be fresh after both the Insomniac CTF, which is happening in Geneva in 2 weeks, in 2 days, and on Friday, like the night between Friday and Saturday, and I'm actually going there with Dragon Sector. And after that, the zero CTF quals are going to happen. I'm also going to participate, so we might do a live stream about some CTF tasks. Depending on what kind of CTF tasks are there. So that's it. Thank you, and see you next week, and happy hacking and happy playing with Ghidra. And I'm going to leave you with some music. Bye bye.